Howdy, here we are again with the Daily Dose. Robert Cochran, Susan Scarlett, and Venetia Bradley. I asked her yesterday about her name, and she made it up. Is that, I said, I've never heard the name Venetia before, and she said, is that cool?
Yeah. What's that about?
Well, I had a business when I was 16. I made boutiques and boutique clothing and sold them. And I had a friend that did this with me. And we had a business called Venetia Ernestine Limited. And people kept calling us that, and Venetia stuck, Ernestine didn't. So I just kept that name.
It's so beautiful. I just love that. So we were heading down a path a moment ago about the reality of our lives. One of the things that I've observed is that having now come to know each other more personally, more deeply, I understand her writing better. She understands mine, and you're the same with you, because you know me, can see and feel more depth in what we are putting out there.
So you read between the lines now.
You read between the lines. Is that what I heard you say? So I'm so glad you said that, because I think you guys have heard me say, and this is shifting kind of into day one focus, the Parkinson's prison hero's journey to escape, that the most important writing you'll do is the writing you do on each other's writing. And I'm starting to see it happen, that I think you guys are buying into that. This week's writing had the most comments, the most thoughtful interactions I've seen so far. And it allows us to start to see our own stories differently when we really see and feel each other's stories, right? And we get invested in each other's stories and go, and this is where the improv, I think, starts to help, because we play a game like patterns and say, where are these things connected in interesting ways, right? By putting those out there. And there's Venetia doing that right now, super. So we pick out patterns and themes and interactions. And now all of a sudden, that's when our story is no longer the lone person on the island crying out. We are a group of islands, and the water starts, receding. We realize, that land's all connected, right?
That land is all connected. I like that. And I see something on your little spit of the island, that I recognize, or maybe I miss, or maybe it's something I can talk to you about. And so the connections just build.
Well, and there lies the power of mirror, right? Reflection. I see myself reflected in you, and you see yourself reflected in me. And
that's interesting,
versions, right?
I hadn't thought of it that way. And the other thing I hadn't thought of was, you said mirror is a form of yes and. So it's a way of introducing and having the visual that you see me, and you're anding me. So I that was really neat to know that. Look at that smile.
I'm glad you saw that too, Susan. And again, you did a very brave thing a week ago in going and teaching a live class. And
with 22 people.
Right? Venetia was
many of whom had cognitive delay and all kinds of stuff.
And a microphone, which is, any additive is going to take away from that organic. And Venetia, you were there with Susan when the two of you did an online class, and that has its own challenges. What Susan experienced when we, again, back to the theme of here we are in person, Susan, you saw on one hand opportunities, you also saw the challenges of the in-person, right? And it's a different juggling act. Yeah.
Yes, and they each have their gifts, and sometimes the gifts explode in your face.
Wait a second. Yeah, I love the way you just said that, the gifts exploding in your face. And somehow within that, the job of the facilitator is to yes and the explosion, is to somehow say, ta, I meant that, as you got gunpowder all over your face and your hair is burned.
Yeah.
Wow, how about that?
Yes, and I've sat at your feet long enough that I've learned a little bit about how to go with it, just recognize that it happened, and that meant I was going to follow that. That's what you do. And it's actually kind of fun. We don't end up doing what we're supposed to be doing, but there's no wrong way to do things in this game. So you just follow the path.
Well, anytime you make it about somebody else, you've won, right? Because that person gets to feel like they did it. you
Yes,
know?
that's what we've been doing all weekend. I want to hear her story. She wants to hear mine. She's really good at asking questions. She's really good.
I love this. And that is quickly and unfortunately our time. You two are lovely. I know you've got boxing to do and you've got a plane to catch, Susan. So this is going to be a great
All right.
Thank you so much for joining us on The Dose, and I will see you both very soon as we continue on the Parkinson's Prison and the hero's journey to escape.
Nice to see you, Robert.
Nice to
Have a
see you.
great
both. Take
day.
care.
Bye.